Hello and welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting for Wednesday, March 31st, 2021. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, we're going to move into executive session. Mr. Clerk, can you read the language?
GL Chapter 30A, 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel and to conduct the contract negotiations with non-union personnel, intern town administrator.
Mr. Sheedy?
Dave Sheedy here.
Mr. Pagone, clerk.
Harold Julius, Chair. Aye. All right, we are moving to executive session.
And we will return to.
We will return to open session. We do not expect this to take very long.
Madam Chairman, would you like some time to yourselves?
Thank you, and we're back to the March 31st, 2021 Board of Selectmen's meeting. We are now returning to open session. Is there anyone here for open forum? Seeing no one, I will close open forum. We don't have any appointments, so we will go right to our action items. Mr. Clerk, do you want to?
Yep, we've got 4 action items this evening. Discuss the investigation into the East Bridgewater Commercial Club COVID-19 outbreak. Votes may be taken. Interim town administrator contract. Approve financial director / accountant job description. And approve to post financial director accountant job position as well.
Thank you. I'm going to take point on action item number 1, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so on the agenda for this evening is the investigative report and recommendations related to a large cluster of COVID infections in the town arising out of the commercial club establishment beginning the week of Thanksgiving 2020. The entire report, which is lengthy, will be made available on the website for public access this evening at the close of our meeting, and hard copies of the report will be made available as well. At this point, I'm going to turn to our attorney, Chris Kenny, to talk about the report and his investigation and recommendations. So, thank you, Attorney Kenny.
Good evening. So as discussed, the Board of Selectmen had directed the law firm of Clifford and Kenny to conduct an administrative investigation into the town's response regarding a large cluster of COVID-19 infections arising at the commercial club during the week of Thanksgiving 2020. So our firm, and myself in particular, was designated and tasked at looking at the acts of town employees and officials in relation to the town's response to before and the town's leading up to the cluster, and also the town's response to the cluster. The Department of Labor Standards did do a separate investigation regarding the commercial club, and that is not the subject of this report. The Massachusetts Department of Labor Standards report was strictly focused on the commercial club as an establishment and did not include, did not involve the town, the actions of the town. During the process of the administrative investigation, 9 witnesses were interviewed. There were 26, I reviewed 26 separate pieces of documentation. There were 56 factual findings made, and the report is 28 pages long. And I would like to thank everyone involved, specifically the witnesses, for their participation in the investigation process. Everyone was made themselves readily available to speak, and that's very much appreciated. In terms of the findings of the report found repeated failures on the Board of Health agent to enforce COVID-19 safety standards, including failure to educate persons violating quarantine orders, failure to adhere to COVID-19 mandates within the town of East Bridgewater, failure to learn and understand COVID-19 safety protocols for town establishments, failure to enforce known safety protocols for individuals and establishments, and an insufficient response to the COVID-19 related emergencies. The investigation also revealed confusion and lack of familiarity with the provisions of the Massachusetts open meeting law and conflict of interest law. In terms of recommendations, the report found repeated instances of lack of professional competence on the part of the Board of Health agent regarding COVID and quarantine enforcement. The report made a recommendation regarding contemplated personnel action to be handled by town council. As well, there's a recommendation for open meeting law and ethics training for the Board of Health members. I believe the board does have the report, and I believe the board members have read the report, and I can certainly answer any questions.
One question that I just thought of when you brought that up, the DLS report, is that public record as well? I know we've seen some things from them, but.
Yes, I mean, it's certainly all subject to the public records law. So, yeah, if
So people
public
could
records
request that directly
came
from
in,
them.
right, any of that would be, there would not be any exemptions for that. So, yeah, all that would be public record.
Okay, great, thank you. Questions, Mr. Sheedy? Comments? Mr. Spagone?
I have none.
Thanks. Thank you for that. I know that it was a lot of work, and I appreciate the diligence that you did to get it done. And I think the report speaks for itself, and I encourage people to read it. So,
I think that's a very important thing. It's going to be made available tonight on the website before everyone, thinks about this, that, or the other thing. Just please take your time and read that report in its full. And that explains what the entire investigation was about.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take a motion.
With that, Madam Chair, I'll make a motion for town council to take any action deemed necessary to address issues with town personnel.
And I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Abstentions?
Abstention, yes.
Great, thank you. The ayes carry that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Back to the action items.
Yep. Should I just make the motion, or should I
Yeah.
just go? Okay. So I'll make a motion to hire James Patrick Purcell as our interim town administrator with the contract subject to funding.
Second.
Any discussion?
Well, I'll start with the fact that I look forward to seeing Jim come aboard. Conversation went really well last week. His vast knowledge of some of the things that we've got going on currently, I think, is going to play a big role moving forward in the next few months, for sure.
I agree. I had a lengthy conversation with Mr. Purcell last week, and we have heard back from a lot of department heads who, for their peers in the 10 other towns that he's had interims, and it's a fantastic report. He does his job. He doesn't interfere with personnel or department heads, and he's ready to come in here and do whatever we need him to do to bring the town back a little calmer than it's been over the last few weeks, and I think it's a great choice.
Great. I agree, like my colleagues. I also spoke to Mr. Purcell over the phone. I have worked with him briefly in the past and have found him to be a very calm and fair presence, and I think he's got the financial skills that we need and the leadership skills that we need to get us through this transition period while we search for a permanent town administrator. So if there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, there we go.
Approve the finance director / accountant job description.
Second.
Any discussion on this?
I think it's pretty pretty clear. I think we've talked about this position. I think it's a great move by the financial team that we have here to start to look at a director and what they could bring to the town and add the assets they could add to that financial team, for sure.
I agree. We've talked about this for probably the last 10 years, doing something like this and getting everything down into that one person who we really had here before. And let's get back to, that. And one hand will be with the other, and everything, I think will be a lot easier for the Finance Committee, Capital Committee, and everyone else involved with the department heads to bring it all together at one place.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're in a position where we have a unique opportunity at this time with our town accountant retiring and, making a change in town leadership. This is a good opportunity to move into the direction of a finance director, which many other towns have, and it's a little more responsibility on that person and take some of that and frees up time for the town administrator to do some other things that are more about team building and leadership. So I think it's a good opportunity for that. So if there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Lastly, approve to post the financial director accountant job.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Because we changed it and we had originally posted this as town accountant and now we're doing finance director, we need to go back and repost and give other people the opportunity to apply for the job now that it's changed.
I think the review committee has been going through the 43 applications that we've had and to try and pick out the ones that may fit both of these positions. And what they'll do when they make their final decisions is get back to those people and see if they're still interested in the job based on the new job description that we have, and they're on the way to do that now.
Yep. So, should be good. All right, if there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 That's all I have.
Thank you.
Yep.
Board discussions. Mr. Sheedy, anything?
Nothing at this time, Madam Chair.
Mr. Spagone?
I'll just follow up on a couple of things from last meeting. So we met today, our SOAR project down on Route 18 corridor. Met today once again with Weston and Sampson, as well as with OCPC, Old Colony Planning Council, and John Haynes, myself, and Fran Yusevitz from Weston and Sampson are sitting down tomorrow, I believe, to go over the One Stop for Growth grant, which we look like we're a good candidate for. So I'm excited to see that, and we'll continue to move forward. We invited Melissa Morrissey into the meeting today as well to start getting some knowledge about where the funding is going to be coming from and all this other stuff. So that worked out really well. And finally, they're having a meeting, hopefully, unless they change something, Rebecca, right, tomorrow night for the rec department to finally pick a candidate for the assistant to get that information out there. So they've got 2 candidates. They're going to interview and then pick the candidate they think that fits the needs best. So.
Excellent. Good. Good.
That's
Wish you success with that.
Yep.
I will just say, normally we had scheduled a meeting for April 5th, but we are putting that off until April 12th to give us a little more time to close the warrant. That just gives us a little leeway with Mr. Purcell starting next Monday. He can meet with the financial team, get things ready. I think the warrant's very close, but we just thought a little breathing room there to give us that time to close the warrant for a town meeting on May 10th. And town election, so this will, unless something happens, this will be our last meeting before town election. So I just want to remind everybody that town election is coming up on April 10th. Polls are open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We do have a handful of contested races, so I really urge people to get out and vote and use your civic responsibility to make good choices. Make good choices. So if there's no further business to come before the board, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Does Rebecca have any?
Oh, Rebecca, I'm sorry, I skipped right
No,
over you this
Rebecca
week.
doesn't have anything to say right now.
Motion to adjourn, Madam Chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks,
you.
everybody. Have a
Happy
good night. Happy Easter. Happy